Welcome to the 12 Hike Podcast, where we talk about all the ways you can get outdoors. This is Zach Jenkins. Thanks for listening. Today's guest is Jonathan Osborne. He and I went to high school together. He had the opportunity to move out west before I did, and he's been living in New Mexico for quite some time. So I decided to hit him up. He and I are both hunters, and coming into this hunting season, I wanted to talk about what he was going to hunt, how he was going to hunt it, and some of the other hobbies he had gotten into since he's been out there. It was a lot of fun to catch up with Jonathan. Like most high school people, I kind of lost touch with him after we all graduated, and it was nice to hear that he had found a place where he was happy and that he really enjoyed. It's funny, I thought I was going to go up and grab me a little bite to eat real quick, and as soon as I put the first spoonful in the bowl, you sent the message.
I'm sorry, man.
That's all right. I sat down here and I thought, you know what? As soon as I go up there and get a bowl, he'll do that. And I waited for 20 minutes. I was like, I got time. Wrong.
No, the little one was a little harder to go down today than usual.
Oh man, mine was too. But we went to a beach that's here. I say beach, a lake, and our thought was, we'll take them to the lake. They'll swim, play in the sand, get all wore out, and they'll be cake to put to sleep tonight.
Wrong.
Yeah, all dead wrong. Also, observation: Latin American people know how to get down at the beach.
You are not wrong.
Oh my God, they had full kitchens.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were carrying kitchen tables with crock pots. It was unreal.
Yeah, that's anytime we head out hunting or we go to the lake or whatever. I do have a lot of Hispanics in my group of friends, and it's like a 7-course meal every night, and it is insane.
It was funny. My wife looked at me on the way home and said, "You know what? I almost walked over and said, listen, I'll give you $20 if you just give me some food."
Yeah.
Because it smelled great. I mean, there were grills flying or firing up everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I was just missing something my whole life by not moving out this way.
Oh yeah, it's culturally it's a whole different world.
Yeah, but that's so strange because back home, there seems to be a pocket of Latin American population there.
Yeah, that's, I don't know, wasn't friends with a whole lot of Latin Americans or Hispanics back in Ohio, but I did work with a few, and it just seemed like a different type of culture than it is as in the stateside culture.
Speaking of, high school and such, I totally lost track of you after high school. Like I lost track of almost everybody.
Mm-hmm.
When did you move to New Mexico?
I moved out here. It was September of 2012. I was working for the Community Action Organization, and then they said, "All right, the funding's done for this program." So I didn't have a job, and I was pretty bored of Scioto County, so I just got out.
Bold move, Cotton.
Yeah. Literally I had nothing, just threw my clothes in the car and took off.
So you didn't even know anybody in New Mexico?
I have one cousin that I had known for a couple of months, and she had convinced me to come out here. Anything was better than Scioto County, as I'm sure you're aware of.
Wow. So I guess me and you were kind of in the same boat because we did the same thing. We sold our house, and then a month later, we were out here. We didn't know anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So that's a strong thing to do. So was it just the fact that you just didn't want to be in Scioto County anymore?
No, that's after high school. Kind of fell in with the wrong crowd a little bit, and I just didn't see my life going where I wanted it to. So I figured I'd try and change that and see if I could do something for the better, and just up and left.
I mean, it seems like things have worked out pretty well for you. What do you do out there?
I'm auto technician for a Chevrolet dealership.
Oh, did you take any kind of schooling or training for that?
Oh yeah, that's so I worked at Glockner's back in Ohio. They sent me through college. I got my associate's degree in automotive technology, and I was out here for less than a week, and I actually got the job at the position at this location.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that worked out for me. That was super helpful.
Now, I didn't know you very well. Well, we didn't hang around in high school, but did you hunt and stuff like that while you were when you were in school?
Very little. I hunted a lot when I was younger. Used to go with my grandfather, a couple cousins. Um, High school just kind of faded out of it, and then once I got out of high school, got kind of back into it. And then once I got out here, I got into it huge.
Yeah, I noticed. And that's what made me think of that. A few years ago, I went squirrel hunting. I put a picture up of some squirrels on Facebook, and you're like, "Oh, that's cute. Check this out." And you
Yeah,
sent me a picture of the biggest squirrel I've ever seen in my life.
that thing was as big as a house cat,
Oh, dude.
and and it was delicious. It was fantastic. Um, it was an Abert squirrel. I know they feast a lot off of ponderosa pines and stuff like that. Um, but that's the first one, and actually the only one I've ever killed out here. Squirrel hunting's kind of a hit or miss, just in this climate and this terrain.
Yeah, so I'm having a big struggle adjusting to what it's like out here versus back in Ohio. So I went fishing the other day, caught a couple little creek chubs. I was pretty proud of myself.
Yeah.
And then Sean Penix sent me a bunch of pictures of him and his son just walking through Little Soda Little Soda River. And they must have caught, I don't know, 20 largemouth, smallmouth. And it hurt my feelings a little bit because I was like, dude, you're going to do that to me?
Yeah, it's like you're just out here catching tiny little fish, and then you're getting these pictures from back home, and you're like, damn.
Yeah, I know. And it makes that's one of the few things I miss about home. Knowing my fishing spots.
Yep.
The other thing that's kind of weird is just getting used to this crazy weather. It's so hot, but it's not. It's a different kind of heat than Ohio.
Yeah, it's a very dry heat. We don't have to deal with the humidity nearly as much.
Yeah, and I'd say especially down there where you guys are at, you probably have it worse than we do.
Yeah, it's been over 100 for the past 2 weeks. It's been pretty miserable.
Yeah, I think it was like 75 today up here. It was nice. It was a really pleasant day to be out.
Lucky.
Yeah, I know, right? Now, we drove through New Mexico on a big road trip that we took. And the parts that we drove through, it was very pretty, but it was like a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
It was all just kind of deserty and red rock.
Okay.
Is that what it's like where you're at, or is there some greenery?
So it depends on how you came through New Mexico. Did you go east to west or north to south?
Oh man, I don't know. It was like 12 years ago. Okay, hold on. We went from west to east.
Okay. Yeah, so you're going to get on the Arizona side, you're going to get a lot of that red rock, a lot of rough, mountainy desert terrain. And then once you get across the mountains here in Albuquerque, it does start to come into a plain, like a Great Plains desert, I guess. It's not as rough as a terrain, but we do have some fantastic scenery, up north, like the Santa Fe National Forest, and then up on the Colorado border where I'm going to be elk hunting this year.
We're going to talk about that in a minute. Don't worry.
No, I figured as much. Then down near the Gila National Forest, it's also very green, and very beautiful down there as well. It's just such a wide variety, but you have to know where to look to find those places.
Yeah, and that's, I haven't been able to get out and explore like I want to. I'm on the Front Range, so within 40 minutes I'm in Rocky Mountain National Park.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many like 4-wheel drive roads that I haven't been able to dig into them and really get into those places.
Mm-hmm.
How many is Albuquerque and Santa Fe? Are those like the two big cities in New Mexico?
Yeah, Albuquerque is the biggest city, and then Santa Fe is the capital. I want to say it's the third biggest city, but don't hold me to that.
Yeah, that's another kind of weird thing to get used to. In Ohio, you've got Columbus, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Athens. To me, it seems like there's a lot of population centers.
Mm-hmm.
But out this way,
yeah, you really don't have that. You have like a one or two major big cities, and then that's really about it.
Yeah, because we were driving around today, and the city we live in, I think it's got 80 or 90,000 people, and you drive 10 minutes away, and it's all ranches, and the houses are super far apart. It's just so strange. I can't get used to it.
Yeah, and that's we're used to you drive down the road and there's a house every couple hundred yards, and that's here. I mean, it's just such a big, vast country that you can't even fathom or imagine, being from Ohio.
Yeah, and everything's different. I mean,
yeah,
we kind of talked about it a little bit through text. Just the culture of the two different areas is so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Out here, everybody's doing something outside. They're either running, bicycling, mountain biking, hiking. Where we were at in Southern Ohio, you didn't have that.
No, I mean, most you would get is a couple drunk people on the tubes floating the side of the river.
Yeah. So we went to Paint Creek one time, and we were fishing on the bank. And this guy, I don't know, he's pretty hefty. I give him 200 plus. He was in a kayak, but he was on top of it. He was just all sprawled out on top of it. He had a jar of peach moonshine, and he goes floating past us, hooting and hollering something. And then his buddy comes up behind him, and he says, "Hey, boys, you want a beer?" And me and my friend's like, "Oh, yeah, I guess." Here we got 2 PBRs flying at our faces. Yeah. And that's it. It's just that kind of laid back, I don't give a crap kind of mentality.
Yep.
And they take care of the places out here a lot more too.
Oh yeah. Now granted, the western states, I know you're Colorado, me and being in New Mexico, there is far more public land out here than we could ever try to imagine in Ohio. I think Ohio has 3.3% public land, whereas New Mexico is at about 64%.
I don't even know what Colorado is. I haven't even looked.
I want to say Colorado is around 40.
Isn't that just a symptom of the way the country was settled, though?
Yeah, it is. But now that I'm out here, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't have to get permissions to hunt somewhere. I don't have to do this or do that. It's like, it's public land. That's my land. I can do what I want.
Yeah, and I think that mentality kind of keeps people on top of things and trying to at least conserve the areas a little bit.
Sometimes I've come across some pretty bad places where people think that, oh, whatever, somebody else will take care of it, and then they just leave the area trashed.
The biggest problem I've ran into so far are people leaving their bags of dog poop on the trails.
Yes, that irritates me so bad.
Oh, it drives me crazy. I was on a mile trail yesterday, just taking the kids out for a little walk. Mm-hmm. I seen 4 bags.
Man.
I'm sure, maybe those people had in mind, I'm going to pick that up whenever I come back through.
And then they forget, don't know where it's at.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Yep. We actually went up to the park today, and there, where we were at, there were a few picnic tables, and around these picnic tables, there were 4 trash cans. There's one on each corner.